What's going on, everyone? Welcome into another episode of GDT Live presented by the Game Day Tarps podcast. My name's Dayton Camo. You guys might not remember me. I've been gone for 3 days. It's all been Colton. He's been soloing everything for the past 3 days. Big shout out to him while I've been at work. Colton, it's a nice Thursday morning. It's almost Friday, almost the weekend. One more day of the week. A couple more shows to do this week. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm excited for this one. We got Jordan Schmaltz joining us, and that should be a good one. How's Dayton? How's the busy civilian life?
Not too bad. We were just talking. Nova Scotia's on fire. There's fires there. There was fires 5 minutes away from the ballpark on Tuesday night when we were doing the broadcast. We're heating up over here, as you could say. But stuff has been good. You got some good news. I got some good news yesterday involving a couple of job opportunities. So that's good. That's good. Everything's looking up for the boys here. But one thing that I wanted to touch on, I don't know if you saw it on Twitter. There was a team that announced a new coach, and the way that they did it was pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if you noticed it on Twitter.
Which one was that?
It's the Shanghai Dragons in the KHL.
Oh yes, and Gerard Gallant.
Yes, I mean I will say it's very clear that everything they're doing is done by AI. But I love the stuff that they're doing, that they're putting out.
Yeah, it's honestly, it looks awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, Dallas is in the chat. What's going on, Dallas? How's it going? You should probably get back to work, though. So, Colton, another one today. Canada, they finished the round robin at the Hlinka Gretzky, undefeated. So, Canada doing well there. I haven't been tuning in too much to it, but thankfully, Stephen Ellis, guys like that, have been pumping out the info on Twitter like crazy, and Canada seems to be rolling. Ethan Belchets, Tynan Lawrence, guys like that, Alessandro Diorio. They've been all playing well, and looks like we might get a USA Canada final at the Hlinka Gretzky this year.
That would be awesome. I wouldn't mind that at all.
No, that definitely would be. It would be good, especially for the Americans like Willie. Willie, I remember you asked a couple days ago what the Hlinka Gretzky tournament was. Well, if the Americans make the final of the Hlinka Gretzky, it might open some eyes to the tournament. You know, a lot of people are really just sold on that World Junior tournament, but there's a lot of good stuff that goes on at the Hlinka, the U18s, the U17s. It's all good.
Yeah, it's all great stuff. It's great hockey. We got Jordan Schmaltz waiting for us backstage. Wanna bring him on?
Yeah, for sure.
So this segment is, of course, sponsored by Quench Hydration. Feel your grind with Quench Hydration. Zero sugar, bold flavor, and real results. Get 15% off your first order at quenchhydration.com with code GameDayTarpsPodcast.
Hey, Jordan, how's it going today?
Fellas, what's up? Thanks for having me. How we doing?
Oh,
It's Thursday, boys. It's ladies' night. What's up?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. We're just chilling here today. It's a good Thursday. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no worries. Where are you at right now? Are we in BC? Where are we at?
Well, Colton's out in BC. Yeah,
Okay.
Colton's in BC. I'm on the East Coast, so
Okay, nice.
Colton and I have actually never even met before in person. So yeah.
No way. Okay, so we got an online relationship. I like that. Boys.
Yeah, for sure.
One of these days you're gonna have to meet up. You know, make sure you're not getting catfished here on the
for sure. I just found out like 2 weeks ago that Colton's only like 5'7" too.
Okay.
On camera, you look a little taller there, Colton.
100%. Yeah, a lot of guys. I always tell like the shorter guys, especially actors, you see them, you're like, I swear you were 6 feet, maybe standing on your wallet or a phone book. But yeah, you never know. In show business, it's deceiving. The camera can do a lot for you. It does a lot for me.
It can. We're going to be meeting each other though when we go down to the USHL Fall Classic.
Okay,
So that'll be fun. Yeah,
Well-
and you know a little thing or two about the USHL winning the title down there in Green Bay. What was that like?
Yeah, I think the league and the landscape has definitely changed since then. I think the year I won it was 2012, Green Bay. We had an unbelievable team. I think it was one of the better teams in league history, and just in terms of win percentage and the amount of points we were able to put up. We never lost a game back to back. Derek Lalonde, who actually coached in Detroit, was our head coach. He was the successor behind John Cooper. So we had a really good team. I love that league. I spent my first year in Sioux City, Iowa. Now, Sioux City, Iowa, for the people who have not been there, it's a meat packing town, and it's a chicken meat packing town. So it's Tyson is the company name, where it just spews out a bunch of chickens, and it's kind of like a slaughter town, to be honest. So when the wind blows the wrong direction, that place, it doesn't smell perfect. So I did like my time in Sioux City, but getting back to Green Bay was awesome, because I'm a local Wisconsin kid, and just from Madison, it was 2 hours to the north. So I had nothing but good things to say about that place. Packer Sundays, and then the USHL, just in terms of a league, I think has gotten a lot better. It's way more developed. I think the skill has gotten to a point where it's really good. I think adding the U.S. program in my early days has really helped that league, and the landscape now is just crazy. Like, you can just play wherever and play college hockey. So I think it's evolving. But where is the Fall Classic this year, fellas? Where's that at? They used to do it in Sioux City, actually.
Pittsburgh.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. I've never been to a USHL game, so I'm looking forward to going down there and seeing the landscape. I'm a big WHL guy, so the US Junior League is a little out of my reach. So I'm looking forward to kind of going and seeing what these kids are all about.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's just, I had a buddy, Bryn Chiswick, who was the general manager of the Waterloo Blackhawks for the last, 4 or 5 years. At the time, he was the youngest GM in USHL history. He was actually my roommate at North Dakota, and he took a job back at the University of North Dakota at our alma mater, and he's basically the GM now. But just even asking him of just the landscape and different things of recruiting now, and it's crazy. Like, to really be closed off to one section of just USHL or U.S. high school, maybe a sprinkle in the European player, has now changed into what you guys know, the wild, wild west. Like, we sniped a couple good kids from the Victoria in the Western League, your league there, my friend Colton.
Yeah.
And took a couple of really good players. So yeah, it's just interesting. Just talking to guys, talking to college coaches, even USHL coaches. I think you can feel the shift one way or the other. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, as a kid that's 15 now, like, do you go play in the USHL as an American, or say, do you go play for a really good program if you're from Wisconsin and go play for the London Knights? It's crazy the different avenues you can go now, and I'll be interested to see what you guys think of the league. I think it's definitely gotten better for sure.
You touched on North Dakota there for a second. What was it like for you playing there? Obviously, you got to play with your brother, Troy Stetcher, Drake Kajula, guys like that. Obviously, some big names. What was it like there?
Yeah, we had a great team. We had three years in a row we were good. I mean, I my freshman year I played with Derek Forbert. That was my D partner. So I learned a lot from Forby. He was a first round pick, kind of the same kind of make and model as me, and maybe I was a little bit more offensive, but still kids that kind of shot up quick in terms of our growth, where we were long, lengthy bodies that kind of had some different things to figure out, whether it was adding strength or just kind of getting adjusted to being bigger dudes on the ice and kind of just getting coordinated. So I think we shared a lot in common in terms of just what we were going through, high expectations, and then parlay that into my sophomore year, where we were able to get guys like Troy Stetcher to come in, Paul Ledoux, another guy that played in the National League. Kajula was a classmate of mine. We had some really good teams there. And even the following year with Nick, my brother, coming in, we ultimately made it to 2 Frozen Fours, lost in the semis both my years, my sophomore and junior year. And then my senior year, I left and they won the national championship. So yeah, we had some great teams there. That one definitely stung. I was watching that game. I think I was coming out of a game like in Rockford, Illinois. We're playing Rockford for the 17th time that year in the AHL. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it'd be nice to be at that shaker afterwards in Tampa. But yeah, that's how it shook out. And I'm just hoping that the coaching staff, the new coaching staff, Dane Jackson was an assistant coach when I was there. Dylan Simpson is an assistant coach there now, a former teammate, as well as Bryn Chiswick, former roommate. So they're in good hands there. I'm hoping they can get this thing back up to the top where North Dakota hockey belongs, because that is another rink you guys got to put on your list of places to go. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best rink in the world. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, most people say the Ralph is the closest thing you can get to an NHL atmosphere outside of professional hockey. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And just the detail of the rink, like it's almost 25 years old now, and it's still the Taj Mahal, like the marble floors, the leather seats, the way the upkeep on that place down below where the players train. They've updated that in the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, they have literally anything and everything to become a NHL player there. They have a high altitude room with bikes in it. They have chirotherapy. They have massage sheets. They literally have everything. The LED beds for red light. It's pretty remarkable what that university has. And, just for politely putting it, being in the middle of fucking nowhere, you kind of need that to get guys to go there. So that's the reason why I went there, right? If you're a hockey player and you like hanging out at the rink and being with your teammates, that's the number one spot, is still, as far as I'm concerned.
Going back to those days, what was a weekend like in your shoes?
Well, play Friday, Saturday, which is nice. There's no weekday games. There's no, 3-3s like the American League, and even Hockey East, they'll play the odd weekday game because it's so close. You can bust across and play BU or BC. So we just played Friday, Saturdays. So you knew that going in, right? So if you sweep on the weekend, which we did a lot of the times, and that was kind of my junior year, was we would have these parties after every Saturday night, hopefully with a sweep, was we're still number one. So we'd have these, we're still number one in terms of the rankings. But yeah, we would get after it, especially on Saturdays. And then Sundays was always one of my favorites, especially during football season. Kind of get the guys together, and it would be karaoke, beer pong, whatever it is. And then that's all you have up there, right? It's the bars and your team. And that's basically what the university is, and the town is. It's what time's happy hour and are the Sioux playing tonight. So that's kind of how it is up there. But yeah, man, those are some of the best days. And I think that's why North Dakota has so many foxhole-like guys, is because there's no distractions. It's just hockey, and it's just your teammates. And that's the cool thing about playing at the University of North Dakota.
Do you have a say in recruitment? Do you help kind of get these players along? Did you help talk with Keaton Verhoff or Cole Reschny at all?
Not really. I think some of the guys that are still playing, they still have, guys reach out, or, whether there's a connection with, those guys playing in BC, and it's Brock Besser playing for the Canucks, who they see all the time. I think there's certain avenues that the program is, just because it's so tight, they can kind of go that different avenue. I've actually had a couple of guys, their coaching staff now, I've had a couple times where they'll reach out to me just because they weren't a fan of me as a player, but they're now a fan of me as what I do now as the People's Insider. So I've helped a little bit. I think I'm actually unsuccessful. I think I'm 0 for 2 right now. I think a kid ended up going to Minnesota, and the other kid was somewhere else. So maybe they're gonna be putting me back to the bench here in terms of trying to get kids to go there. So yeah, but it's such a tight knit group, and we do a golf trip every year. We've done it since we finished up at school, and I think it was our 10th year this past year, where we have basically the core of 3 to 5 classes of kind of just all the coolest dudes in those classes come together, and we pick a different city every year. And actually Coach Jackson and Dave Hackstall were on the trip this year. So we got all of our bases covered, boys. We got NHL coaches, players, you name it, and the People's Insider, of course.
Yeah, I actually just watched that the video, the golf video that you put out. You and in front of the green screen with the mic and everything, and then doing the lineup of the players. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was funny. I did that literally in my kitchen, and then it took me, because I don't know how to edit at all. Like, I don't know if you guys know how to do that. You're probably way better than me, but it's just, I could barely turn on a toaster. So to me, a lot of the stuff is just foreign. So I was going back and forth, because I had the vision of like Monday Night Football, the starting lineups. So they would always zip through those really fast on Monday night or Sunday Night Football with Al Michaels. So that was the vision behind it. And then I just was working with my editor, shout out to Audrey, and we put it together. She does a great job. But yeah, that's I put that together for the boys, and we kind of rolled it to get the weekend going. There was a lot of laughs for sure.
Swish, what's one of your favorite moments from your NCAA career?
Ooh, I don't know. I think probably playing at Madison in Wisconsin, because we're from just outside of Madison, Verona. So we played there my junior year, and Nick was on the team. So we had a ton of family in town. Obviously, the Badgers were just dog shit at the time. So I knew we were going to go there and just whack them at the Kohl Center and just, take their points, take their chicks, whatever it was. We're going to get out of town and just clean them up. So we went into Madison and we swept them. But Saturday night, it was a tie game with like 7 minutes left, maybe a little more, but I think it was single digits. And we got a power play. And I kind of ended up walking to the middle off the half wall. Nick was playing on his forehand side, so he was on the right flank. So as I'm peeling this puck off the right wall, walking towards, the middle of the ice off the blue line, I snap it back to Nick. Nick kind of takes a step in, little toe drag, sends it down to a guy named Mike Parks, and Mike Parks makes a great move right in front of the cage, and we score. So we both had assist on the game-winning play, and we kind of set it up, and we sellied like right in front of their goalie. So and I actually got that still shot. I got it done by an artist that did a painting for me and gave it to my mom and dad, and they had it in their laundry room forever. So that was one of the cooler moments, just because we had a ton of family and friends in town, and we knew we were going to dust them up. Like it was like, all right, let's get in here and get it done. We're talking shit all week to all of our buddies too that went to Wisco at the time. So that was one. Philadelphia, we played Minnesota in the Frozen Four semifinal. I think it was my best game of my personal college career. We ended up losing with 0.6 seconds left. It was insane, but we outplayed them the whole game. Their goalie, Adam Wilcox, he stood on his head, and that was probably my best game I ever played for UND. So I always remember that. I was peak flow state. I was like, wow, like after that game, I'm like, give me my silver stick. I'm going to the National League. I'm playing 1,000 games. So that was one that was like, well, I really remember. I'm trying to think of other games that were cool. We always had really good battles with Denver. Those were always good. But yeah, I would say those two games, man. And then we lost to Boston in the Frozen 4-2. Jack Eichel I just remember, like, this he's so sick. I mean, I know he was going to be a second overall pick that year, but just playing against him, being an underage freshman, putting up 60, 70 odd points, I was like, this guy's different. So yeah, there's a few games that stick out, but I always go back to that one in Madison just because it meant a lot to us, and yeah, we got it done.
What was your favorite barn to play in other than the Ralph?
That's a good question. I would say Western Michigan. It's an absolute shitbox, and they're getting a new arena. But Lawson and the Lunatics there are nuts. And they used to have a team that was just like compiled of old USHL fighters and like tier 2 junior fighters. So they would have these big teams and a small rink, bad ice. You always had to have your chin tucked, as I would say. There was crazy fans. They would forecheck hard. That was a great rink. Miami of Ohio, when they actually used to be good and they didn't play like they were a club hockey team, they used to have really good fans. There was a great barn to go into. Minnesota, I would say Minnesota. Played in my freshman year. Never beat those cocksuckers, by the way. Always, I think I was like 0-4-1 against them. Just a bad effort. But playing at Mariucci, especially just being a college hockey guru, even in my day of going to watch UW and seeing these teams coming to town, the Thomas Vaneks, Phil Kessels of the world. It was really cool to play there, and especially just how much Minnesota and North Dakota fans hate each other. So I would probably say there, just Mariucci. That was my freshman year. They had a really good team too. Bukestad, Halla, Nate Schmidt, some really good players. Kyle Rao. So I would say that.
Who's the funniest player that you played with?
It's hard because a lot of these guys, like, they don't like to showcase themselves, and they don't like to be like for me, like, I'm in the locker room, I'm gonna be the same guy outside. I'm not gonna shut the fuck up, and I don't really have a filter. For better or worse, that's just how I've always been, right? It's like I walk into a locker room, I'm putting on a bit. So I would say the funniest guy that people wouldn't know is Jordan Schmaltz, Saskatchewan, small town.
Oh yes,
so funny. His one-liners are unbelievable. I wish someone especially like I didn't get a ton of time in the NHL, but more time than you think because I was always a fucking healthy scratch, but probably on roster for 100 games. So, accumulated like a year and a half total of NHL time in real time. But him and I, when we would go back and forth in the locker room, like it was like Saturday Night Live bullshit. Like it was like who can break the other guy first. Like I'd walk into the rink or he'd walk into the rink and we'd see our paths cross, whether it was in the meal room, the stick room. It was like someone had the camera on and they're like, let's just go and try to one up each other until the other guy breaks and he starts laughing. So he is one of the funnier guys I've ever met. And he can play at a really high pace. Like he's really witty, really quick. So I would say him. I'm trying to think of like other really funny dudes that I play with. Like St. Louis had so many just beauties, like just old school. They still have a pretty good influx of just really old school type of guys. But Schwartzy, actually Tyler Bozak's funny, another Saskatchewan guy. Braden Shen's got a good sense of humor. Robert Bortuzzo, like these guys, like it was just, it's nonstop. But I would say if I'm picking one, it would be Schwartzy. He's so funny. He doesn't have any social media. If you see him doing an interview, he's just like, yeah, puck's in deep. Yeah, good. But then like you walk away and drop a dagger. So yeah, I would say him.
Yeah, I definitely know where you're coming from there. I went to a school with a guy from small town Saskatchewan for the last couple of years. And all I'm going to say is the DMs between me and him should probably have a password on them.
Yeah.
But since we're talking about the NHL, Jordan, did you have a welcome to the show moment?
Yeah, I mean, my first game, I remember I was in Colorado. They weren't very good at the time. I ended up actually getting an assist in the game, which was pretty cool. But that day I was so nervous. I was just like, I couldn't even really, focus. I don't know why. It was just, you're finally getting called up. I think it was kind of just like the anticipation of playing a year in the minors and then finally get my chance. But I think my welcome to the show moment was, and I've told this story before, but it was my first call up. It was on the same road trip as that Colorado swing. I think it was maybe the second game or the third game on the leg of that trip. I think it was the second game, to be honest. So we play in Colorado. We beat them. We fly to Phoenix. We have like 3 or 4 days in Arizona. So Glendale in the middle of nowhere. We stay at this JW Marriott Desert Ridge. So we stay there for a couple of days. We golf. We're hanging out. We go into Glendale, and we're playing the Coyotes. And we got a really good team at this point in St. Louis. And the Coyotes weren't so good. So we get to morning skate. We do it. All good, normal. And we get to the meal room, which is, you go in, they have the full spread, whatever you want, from salmon to if you want eggs again, or you want steak, chicken, whatever. Like it's the National League. So we're sitting down, and I'm kind of just sitting by the other rookies, Fabry, Edmondson, Tyraddy, maybe some of these younger guys. We're kind of just sitting at the meal table, and Scotty Upshaw, who I do a podcast now with, Missing Curfew, comes up to our table. He's like, "Hey boys, bring a change of clothes to the rink tonight." We're like, change of clothes? Like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, bring a change of clothes because we don't have time to go back to the hotel. Like, we're staying at Desert Ridge from Glendale. That's 30 minutes. And by the time we get to Old Town, it's going to be last call. So bring a change of clothes to the game. We're like, bring a change of clothes to the National League. Like, this is going to fly. So we're like, all right, whatever. So we bring our change of clothes to the rink. The trainers are going to take our suits and our suit bags, and they're going to bring them back to the hotel. So we get to the game, and Uppy's like, bouncing off the walls. Like, he's got this like night set up. We're going to go to Bottle Blonde and all this stuff. And so I started talking. I'm like, what's the plan? He's like, oh, kid, just wait. I'm like, all right. So we're in the training room. We're kind of taping our sticks. More of the young guys are kind of around. We're asking Uppy, why do we need this change of clothes? He's like, all right, here's the plan. We got to win this game because I promised Army if we win, this is what's going to happen. If we lose, the whole plan is kibosh. So we better Billy guarantee this game. Otherwise, we're not having this night. So the Sprinter van plans to pick us up right from the loading dock. You walk in with your go night clothes on. You get on the bus. It's stocked. We're going to take this bus down to Old Town Scottsdale. We got sushi plated already at a place called, it's at the W. It's called Roku. So the sushi is going to be set. We're going to eat in 6 minutes, and then we're going to go over to Bottle Blonde. We got the DJ booth set up. So we play that game. We squeak one out in a shootout, and we're like, oh my God. We're just like shitting our pants. We're like, holy fuck. Because hopefully this is still on and Army's not mad. So we change up, get out of our stuff, put our go night clothes on, give the trainers our suits, get in the Sprinter bus, take the Sprinter van down from Glendale to Scottsdale, which is like 25 minutes, get to this sushi restaurant. Everything's already on the table. We eat quick. Uppy pays a check. We get into the DJ booth, and I'm like, "What is this league? Like, this is like rock star shit. Like, do we even play a game, or are we just going out?" And then like we get to this booth, and it's stocked up like a pond full of bass. You know what I mean? Like, there's pick your poison. If you're a single guy, you got any option you want. So that was my short story long. That was my welcome to the National League moment. I was like, what is this league? And I got to find a way to stay in it because this is too good. This is a little different than the soggy subs on the bus in the American League. So, yeah, that was like my welcome to the fucking league. I was like, holy shit, what is this? Like, you couldn't pull that off if you try these days, guys. Like a Sprinter van, a bus parked out on the loading dock. Like, no team is saying yes to that anymore. Usually you got to go fake like you're going to go rest at home and go to the hotel. This thing was just like guys on the other team are walking out. They're like, who's got the fucking Sprinter van? Where are you guys going? You got the full bus? Like, oh, yeah. You want to ride, fella? Get in. So, yeah, that was probably the coolest moment for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. What a moment, though. That's awesome. What was Uppy like just to be around at that age?
Well, I tell you, he's not slowing down. The up dog's got one speed. It's full up dog. So, yeah, man. I mean, he was 32. He had came that year on a PTO, like no deal in place. Ended up playing 3 years there, and yeah, like I was 21 to 24 when I knew him. So he was kind of a guy I just like was looking up to. I'm like, if this guy. First of all, he's a fourth liner. He's had some good years in the league, but he's a third, fourth liner, and people are treating him like he's Mick Jagger. So he must be an off-ice legend here. Like he's like a full-on rock star. So I got to hang around with this guy. So I learned a ton with him, you know, just with going for meals and listening to him. And he always had everything dialed in. Like, you know, you land in this city, go grab a beer here. Maybe if it's in Nashville, let's go to Tin Roof for one, and then it's a nice meal, and then, you know, shut it down because we got a game the next day. But he had everything just dialed in, and that's like the biggest thing I learned from a lot of those guys in St. Louis is yeah, the game is fun, but you got to make it, you know, the most of it. And I mean, you're in the best league in the world, and you know, you got to be able to work and play. So I think that's the things I took away.
What was your favorite like road city to go play in?
New York City is unreal, just because I love Madison Square Garden. I love just the Mecca. I think that building is the best in the world. And I love just cruising around that city, just walking around Manhattan. So I'd say the Bell Center, though, I think for warm-ups and just overall hockey experience has got to be the best. The warm-up tunes, you're like, who is this DJ? Is this fucking Kygo up there? Like, how is he spinning this? It's crazy. So I would say Montreal was for sure my favorite, just because like you would fly in there and whatever, you're coming from usually on an eastern swing. If you're playing in the West, you'd be coming in playing Toronto or Ottawa the night before, and then you get it the night in Montreal, and you just hope that, you know, the schedule aligns where you can get a night out, maybe two afterwards, because that city is the best. And I was there for the Four Nations, and I forgot how cool of a city it was. And yeah, so I would say Montreal for sure.
What was your favorite jersey to wear?
Favorite jersey? You know what? I never got to fully put on the Maple Leaf sweater other than just the preseason games I played. I got traded there after I ended my time in St. Louis. I was on a one-way, and I was kind of, you know, brought in to challenge for a 5-6-7 role. Didn't end up happening, but I love that. Even the Marlies logo, just that logo, the leaf, so much tradition, the colors. I think it's such a clean tarp. And I wish I would have been able to wear the Maple Leafs jersey, and those like that team to me is just it's the ultimate standard. Fans can say what they want, people can say what they want about the team, but for me that jersey's timeless. Like it's the best.
What was the move from a player standpoint to a media standpoint for you?
I mean, nothing crazy. I never really thought about it, to be honest. I knew I wanted to do something in media. I knew I wanted to start podcasting. I know I wanted to start doing stuff, whether it was like sketch comedy, improv comedy, live shows. And that's what we just started doing. Like I have my Live and 5 podcast. I basically when I retired, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to use this as reps. I want to get on the mic and start getting better at talking. So I do that with my buddy, Gage Osmus, who was the captain of UND, the national championship team. Like he's a full-time mover, like a very successful moving company he owns. So he'll just basically, I'll just text somebody like, Oslo, you got, you know, an hour this day, be like, yeah, I can maybe make it work, or I got, I'm doing other things. So, good on him for helping me out with that. And then my other pod, I'm on Missing Curfew full time with those guys now as well. But Home by 3 with the Heat Daddy online is my bread and butter, or our bread and butter. The live shows, the improv comedy, like that's the cross I've always wanted to make, whether it's still being logical in the game and being able to talk and articulate what is happening in real time of a play or break something down. But I also want to be able to go off the rails and talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. And comedy, I think, is it's coming back in terms of not being as sensitive to different things. I think people really enjoy raw, real, and uncut. And as long as you can toe that line, I think it's something people crave. And that's what we try to bring. Like I always knew when I was done playing hockey, this is kind of something I wanted to do. And I dove in, as I would say, chin first, fella. I just started getting after it. So it's been a lot of fun.
Definitely. I actually just watched the videos that you put out, like naming how the name came from the Home by 3 podcast or whatever. That was it was really raw. It was just like two boys sitting down, thinking, having a laugh. It was good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, and the fact that we got that, like, it was going to be either me or Rob that thought of the name, obviously. And like the amount of times we just sat down and tried to think of a new name after we ended up having to change our name was crazy. It was like probably, I think that was like day 7 or 8 of just like being together and just sitting down trying to think of a name. Like I must have shot 10,000 names at him. Not that many, but something close to that. And we finally got that, and it was on camera. And go for 1, stay for 2, Home by 3, and that's how I was born.
I saw one thing on your Twitter. It was your top 15 defensemen list, and then I looked at the comments, and some guy goes, "No TVR. Do you even watch hockey?" And it just made me chuckle because I was like, well, one, I don't think I would put Trevor Van Riemsdyk like in a top 15 list anywhere. And 2, yeah, I'm pretty sure you watch hockey.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, TVR, listen, great dude, great family. Not sure he's a top 15 defenseman in the Eastern Conference, maybe not even in his division. And I say that politely. Good defenseman, good first pass, good player, veteran of 600 odd games, right? But he's a 5'6". Yeah, man, I threw that out there and I was getting some heat, but like I can take it. It's fine. It's just like when people try to tell me that Adam Fox is like a top 5 defenseman, it's like he's not even close. I mean, it's just not. Like I'd rather have Jacob Slavin or someone like that can actually play a little bit of defense. And now, you know what? I'm really interested to see where Fox ends up on this American Blue Line. Like I was drawing up my rosters the other day. I don't know if it was a week ago or 5 days, but I don't have him in my top 6. I really don't. And I think he can play 7 because you play 7 in Olympic play in international. And I think he could play on the power play if you need him. But I just think, like, if you're looking at the Americans' right side, like Faber is going to be a shutdown pair with Slavin. I mean, you can't argue that. That guy, the way that they competed against the top lines of Canada and the 4 nations, I mean, it's like they had sticky glue on. They were just, unbelievable. So those guys are not going to move. And then you got Charlie McAvoy, who's going to play with Quinn Hughes, right? And, like that's a pairing that you dream about, because anything across the middle of the ice, you got to be worried about your own shin, because McAvoy could absolutely body bag you. He's good in front of the net. He's physical. And you pair that with the skating of Quinn Hughes, twinkle toes out there. It's like, how do you argue that? And then where you have maybe where Fox could slate in with the 2 lefty pairing, he just isn't there with the skating or the stick or the way they defend, the way they close guys out. These guys don't give up lines at all. Is Jake Sanderson and Zach Werenski. I mean, Werenski was up for the Norris all year long. Like, he almost single-handedly put that team in Columbus into the playoffs. Like, if you look at that Columbus roster, no disrespect, but the reason they were there is because of Werenski. So you pair that with Jake Sanderson, who on first touch is one of the fastest, most electric skaters from his own goal line up the ice. I mean, he's 2 strides out of the zone all day, and no forward forechecking him can get to him because he's so elusive and he's so powerful. So where does Fox really fit in? Like, he's not going to play on a shutdown pair with Slavin. Like, you need Faber there. He's a minute muncher. And then you go to the top pair where McAvoy, he's way more assertive and he brings just an edge to him that you need on your blue line. And then you go to that second pair, it's like, well, fuck, he's not going to play over Sanderson. I don't care what hand he is. So it's interesting, man. I don't know if the coaching staff or Billy Guerin agrees with me, but if you need a breakdown, boys, just give me a call, because I'm sure they're listening.
Yeah, definitely. We got a comment coming in here from the chat from Big Willie Styles, and I'm pretty sure exactly what he's talking about is Charlie McAvoy putting people into a body bag, and also putting Connor McDavid into a body bag at the Four Nations Cup, because I remember that pretty vividly. It was like early on in the first period, McDavid flying, probably had his head down a little bit, and there comes a brick wall of Charlie McAvoy. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, it was right inside the blue line on the wall there. I was at the game, and I remember seeing that. I was like, that's why we need McAvoy in the lineup. And then even like the shift kind of went on. There was a sequence in front of the net, and he body bagged McDavid a little bit, where he kind of pushed him into the wall. A little bit of a, it wasn't a penalty, but a little bit of a greasier play, especially with against the best player in the world. So that's what you need, though. That's what the Americans, which we need on our blue line. So yeah, I'm interested to see where the Foxy man ends up, because people, especially New York fans, weren't happy with my ranking. I mean, I had to slide him in. The only reason why he was 15 is because he's won a Norris. Like I had a couple other names in the well there, but I just figured, just out of respect, got to give him at least 15.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the least you could do. There was two other right-handed defensemen that I kind of saw, but on the Canadian side, and you're big on the Doughty over Bouchard. I am as well, but can you kind of explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I just think, like, okay, so you get to these games in the prelims, right? You're gonna roll the lines. Makar's gonna play 20, Parayko 20, Doughty 15, 20, whatever it is. But when the game is on the line and you get into the medal round, Makar against the U.S. team, if we're talking just a gold medal game, is going to play 30 minutes. You need him to play 30 minutes. He's the best D in the world. Why wouldn't he play 30 minutes? So he's going to be going over the boards, if he's healthy, every other shift, pretty much. I mean, he's going to play at least 25, maybe 30, depending on how the game and specialty teams go. So then you got a guy like Parayko, who's going to play more of a shutdown role. He's going to play anywhere from 17 to 22. So that leaves, I mean, I'm not a math guy. I went to school at the University of North Dakota, Ivy League of the West, for 3 years as a communications major. But if you're just talking simple numbers, that leaves about 10 to 15 minutes on the other side for the third pair right shot defenseman. Okay, what is Evan Bouchard known to do a lot? He's going to get you points. He's going to score, but he's also going to probably chunk one up the middle, and he's going to give a grade A opportunity at least one time per game. There's enough evidence out there where this guy makes a lot of bona fide mistakes, especially in key times. Now, where's the safest option? Do you need an offensive defenseman when you already have the best offensive defenseman in the world on your right side, and a guy like Shea Theodore who's fully capable of running a second power play, or Thomas Harley? Okay, so now you look at what you need in that role on that right side. I need a guy that's steady. I need a guy that can play penalty kill. And I need a guy that when I throw over the boards, I can trust him 100%. So if Bouchard's trustability, I don't even know if that's a word, if his trust level is with a coach at 60 or 70% in those scenarios, well, Doughty's is 90 plus. I mean, the guy's won Olympics, he's won World Juniors, he's won Four Nations. Like, he's just such a solid presence back there, where I think that is the type of player you need in that role over a guy like Evan Bouchard. And Evan Bouchard is unbelievably talented, obviously unbelievable on the power play, can put up 1 and 2 in his sleep. But I just think in that role, if you're looking at it and you're breaking it down, I think Doughty makes more sense. I really do.
You also had Mr. Felabrini as an extra forward. Do you think he actually has a shot to make the team?
I think so. Like, I just think, like, if you're looking at extras and you're looking at Jarvis or Konechny, I'm taking Felabrini over those guys both times, because Felabrini, now he can play center and wing. And I just think it would be really good for him to be around Sid and McKinnon and all these guys for future international play. Now, you got to earn it, right? It's the Olympics. It's not Four Nations. It's not World Championships. But I do think he's taken that stride. And I think if he gets out of the gates hot, where, the first 50 games, he's got 60 points or a point per game, I think you bring him. And I think he could be an option. And especially, in some of these games where you want to take the load off of Sid and some of these older players, Marchand, you insert Felabrini, and he wouldn't be out of place, is what I'm saying. And he's knocking on the door.
Definitely, I agree with that one for sure. I'm big with the younger guys going, and I definitely think I would send a guy like Celebrini over Bedard at this point too.
Yeah, no doubt. I just think that his game is way more mature. I think he's just further along in his development, and whether Bedard gets there, and potential is just a word, right? It's depending on if he gets to his ceiling, and I just think Felabrini is he's on a different level, and I think this year I think he's going to be electric. I think if he stays healthy. I know Man Jose is not a great team, but I think he's an 80-point guy this year. I really do.
Do you have any other players that are breakout candidates for yourself this year?
I don't know. Like I want to see Logan Cooley. I want to see if he can take the next step. I think his first couple years in the league here he's definitely come into his own. I think he's capable of being a very elite two-way centerman. Now I want to see him use his teammates more. I want to see him play more of a 2-on-1 game, find the one-timer, find the 2-on-1, manipulate defensemen versus playing a lot of 1-on-1 play. I think you come from college. I think you kind of get lost in trying to figure out who you are as a player and what works at the National League level. I think his first 2 years, he's done a fairly good job. I just think there's way more capable of him of finding numbers and colors and executing at a higher rate where, a lot of times he's playing 1-on-1 where you make a cutback and then you make the second cutback or the third, and you actually you're in the same spot where you started, right? Where it's one cutback. Now make that pass. Now get open, give and go. I would like to see him use more of his brain versus trying to play 1-on-1 because he's a smart player. So that's one. And then I would say on the other end, I want to see how Nashus does in Colorado. Like what's going to go on there. I want to see that play out. There's rumors are that he's, maybe not looking to stay there long-term or not necessarily happy there, which is hilarious because he's got a pretty good power play. So I want to see how he does because I love his game. I think he's such a talented player, but again, if you're not in the right headspace, you never know. So those are two guys I'm looking for.
Oh, those are perfect. Last one from me, Swish. The NCAA landscape has obviously changed dramatically. Gavin McKenna, of course, coming down to Penn State. Who are some of the teams to watch this year?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not a political podcast, but I'm going to pump my team in the North Dakota Sioux, right? I want to see how these guys do. I want to see these new kids come in and see what they project and get this team back into the tournament where they belong. So I'm looking for them to have a big year. I got to shout out my boy David Carl at the University of Denver. Whatever they do, keep doing it. I don't know how they do it, what they do, but that's an absolute electric factory down there in the Mile High City. And he's a hell of a coach. So those are two teams I would be looking for. And then I want to see, just how some of these other teams do, like BU, BC, like they got all these kids, they got all these highly touted players. Like, are you ever going to win one? Or are you just going to just talk about how good you are on paper and how many first round draft picks you have? So I would say those teams is what I'm looking for. And then maybe Western Michigan, like you won a national championship, but where do you go from here? Like your new rink's coming. You got a great coach there. So there's a lot of storylines, I think, but I love when the Blue Bloods are good. I love when the storied teams of college hockey are good. I'd like to see them back on top.
We got one in the chat here from Big Willie Styles. He wants to know if you can beat Nick in the fight.
You know what? I think so, just because I got a lot of size on him. You know what I mean? And I got the older brother factor, right? So he's like 175, 180 soaking wet, 5'11", 6 foot. I'm like 6'3", 205. So as a defenseman, even though I wasn't tough, I feel like I could take him. Older brother, 30 pounds on the fucking kid. I mean, if I can't beat him in a fight, I should probably just turn my man card in, I guess.
Just why don't you let our viewers know where they can find your podcast and where they can find all your stuff?
Yep. So I'm at JSwish. That's an _J_Swish24 on Twitter, at JSchmaltz24 on Instagram. Missing Curfew is a podcast I am on with Shane O'Brien, Scotty Upshaw. Home by 3, that is my baby. So Home by 3 official on Instagram and Twitter, and Home by 3 on YouTube. You can check out all of our stuff. We just had Luke Wilson on, former Super Bowl champion today, so go check that out. And then Live in 5 is my other baby I do with Gage Osmus, former captain at UND. Every pod has a different angle. Every pod talks a little bit of hockey. Home by 3 more comedy based, Live in 5 more interview based, and then obviously Missing Curfew is just like being in the locker room with the fellas. So that's where you can check it out. I appreciate you men for having me on. This was great.
Oh, it was a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, thanks, fellas.
Take care.
Thank you, Swish.
Yep, no worries. Thank you.
Well, Colton, another good one today. Jay Swish, 24. Everyone knows him. He's definitely been a big influence on the hockey media world in the past couple of years. He's been a rising voice, and I know I've definitely loved seeing some of the content he's put out.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, what him and Gucci do, Rob Gucci, they do great stuff. Fantastic stuff. I highly suggest you guys go follow Jordan and go follow Rob, go follow Heat Daddy as he is known online. But that was great stuff with Jordan. I learned a lot. I got some funny stuff out of him as well. You guys made fun of me. That was good.
Made fun of you? What are you talking about?
Well, you talked about my height, I guess, but that's not really making fun of me. Yeah, I know,
No.
Willie was falling asleep.
Willie says, clap, clap, clap. Great guess. Thanks, Willie.
Thanks,
But
Willie.
yeah, Colton, I just wanted to touch on this. We were talking about it a little bit before. I know you talked about it on yesterday's show, but I wasn't here. So the NHL 26 gameplay trailer, or the deep dive, it didn't look too different. That's kind of what I was expecting.
It's the same recycled game over and over again.
Yeah, with 81 new goaltender movements and NHL Edge Ice Q technology 2.0.
Just bring NHL 14 back and let me play it. Or NHL 2005.
Willie and Dak both say trash. And yeah, I agree. I agree on that one.
They just need to, if people would stop buying the game, maybe they would do something about it, but they don't. So, what I don't understand about the EA Sports franchise is how we had stuff in that game in NHL 09 and NHL 14 and years like that we somehow don't have those features now in NHL 26. How is that possible? How do we get rid of things that work?
I don't know.
It's because all they care about. I can go on a rant about this, but I won't. But it's because all they care about is hockey Ultimate Team. That's it. That's all that. Yeah, but that's all that EA cares about because that's where the money comes in from the microtransactions, right? So they don't need to.
I'm not one of those. I have never spent a cent on it. I will say that I like Hockey Ultimate Team, but I'm not one of those couch potatoes that sits there and say, "Mom, let me use your credit card. Want to buy a new player?"
Yeah. Well, and there you go. And that's exactly what has ruined the game is Hockey Ultimate Team and just the amount of care that EA has for microtransactions is ridiculous.
Dallas says CFB 25, and I know we've talked about this before. If they make a NCAA college hockey game like that, yes,
100, would be sold out in minutes. People everywhere would buy it. I don't know. It's just silly. You would think that that EA would look at other sports games that they have, like CFB, and go, "Oh wow, well this is really successful. What do we need to implement into other sports games from this?" But no, they just don't do that. So I don't know. I'm in the majority that we're never really going to get a new NHL game unless 2K or somebody starts making games again.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Twitter here. There was one thing I saw, trying to find it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. Yeah, no, that's all right. Dallas has no
Yeah.
effort in shell. What?
Well, they're
He's
different
right.
studios,
He's right.
but still, yeah. The money factor for EA NHL compared to like college football or FIFA is probably significantly lower in terms of their budget and how they make the game. So I don't know. Regardless, don't buy NHL 26. Prove a point.
I probably will. Black Friday.
Yeah, I probably will too.
$40.
I know, me too.
Way she goes. Way
Um,
she goes.
I was gonna say who we're having on tomorrow, but I'm not going to in case that goes
Yes.
sideways.
Good call. Good call.
But fun one tomorrow. So you guys check out maybe even tonight I'll put out a little social media post and tease it who's coming on. But if not, keep an eye on the Twitter for tomorrow morning.
Definitely. Well, fellas, we thank you for tuning in for another episode of GDT Live here on a Thursday. Tune in tomorrow. It's the last episode of the week. We'll be right back here, 11 a.m., 2 p.m. Eastern on GDT Live.